Today's hot topic, how's the market? This week in market numbers, Hoboken, Jersey City. Today is October 6th, 2020. So let's start with Jersey City. There are 307 active homes on the market in Jersey City. There are 39 that came on in the last week and 130 in the last month. So you're really looking at about 9 weeks worth of activity that just came, based on what came on in the last week or so. The under contracts are 59. So if you look at that in terms of months of inventory, that would be about 6 months of inventory for Jersey City. And if you compare that to a couple of weeks ago, the number of contracts in Jersey City has actually risen. So as I predicted, Jersey City was a little bit lagging Hoboken in terms of their activity, but you can see now that they're starting to pick up the pace regarding the number of contracts. Days on market for those contracts are 43. So that's the average days on market. So, that's not really surprising that homes are taking a little bit of time to actually get under contract. And the number sold in the last 30 days was 46 homes that were sold in the last 30 days in Jersey City. And the average discount on that was 2.4% discount versus ask price. Now that number is actually, the discount has actually gone up. So there's more of a discount than there was a couple of weeks ago when you're starting to look at what was sold. I think that has a little bit to do with the fact that, the market there is so many homes on the market, and, you're really looking at having to be a little bit more in tune with where the buyers are setting the market. In Hoboken, there's 380 condos on the market. This is exactly the same amount that there were 2 weeks ago. So I would say that number is flat. 54 came on in the last week and 189 in the last 30 days. So half of the condos in Hoboken came on in the last 30 days. Under contracts for the last month, there were 83, and that number's dropped a little bit over the last 2 weeks for Hoboken. So, maybe Hoboken has sort of peaked in terms of its quote unquote spring market. That's a real concern it should be a real concern for sellers right now, is that, hey, if that was the peak a couple of weeks ago, traditionally starting the first, second week of November, we start to really get into that winter market, and there's a lot of homes here on the market. Days on market for those that went under contract was 34, so it did take over a month for a lot of those homes, and 60 of them did sell in the last 30 days. That means they actually closed in the last 30 days. So if you look at months of inventory, if you use under contracts, which is the real number, you're looking at about 4.5 months worth of inventory. So it's definitely climbing. And the discount in Hoboken this week was 2.1%, so slightly more of a discount than a couple weeks ago. Now that we're into October, into Q4, and honestly, we could talk about Q3 and look at some analysis of Q3, but I gotta tell you, that would be a giant waste of time. The fact is that if you look at where Q3 was, you have July, August, and September. July, we were just getting out of COVID. August was basically the new April, and September, maybe the new May. For Hoboken, for Jersey City, it really was a week or a month shifted over, maybe a month and 6 weeks shifted over. So looking at those Q3 numbers, does it really tell you anything? You can't compare it to last year because we just got out of COVID. It doesn't mean a thing last year or the last 19 years. Really, what we need to look at is what's happened in the last 2 weeks, what happened last week, what happened this week, to really see where this market is going, how healthy it is, how vibrant it is. Good news is that homes are being sold. The bad news is there are going to be a lot of sellers without a seat come the winter, if we have a traditional winter. So that's really where we are with Hoboken and Jersey City this week, October 6th, 2020.